Being, one answer to the question, Who am I? By Sakshi Dan and Chong Jin. A translation by E. Gregor for the original Brazilian book, Sendo uma resposta para a pergunta, Quem sou eu? Quem sou eu? Quem sou eu? Translator's observations. Words, words, words. If they can't get us closer to the truth, or even to the essence, imagine a mere translation. But no effort is necessary. As the author suggests, let's just play with them. Therefore, I made freely changes to bring to the readers some of the profundity fun that this book incited in my innermost being. This very term, being, is a bit confused to understand in English language. Being is the present continuous of the verb to be. This continuity, ever-present act, is the meaning of being in this book. Be open to awake the wizard magician in you and welcome the transmutation, cause here and now you will be no more. E. Gregor. I am not. I am just being. I, not am. I am just being. Revelation. The complete feast is in the first spoonful. Everything is already here, written and revealed on the cover of the book. The answer to the question, Who am I? Is being. If you already understand, savor and live this, then you can close the book now and pass it on. If the simple thing still seems confusing to you, let's continue here together, playing with the alternation of letters and words until there are no more doubts. After all, without questions, we don't need answers. A strategy used by magicians, mystics, and masters is to show you the other side, or several, or a new direction in your line of reasoning. For example, telling you that feeling sad brings complete happiness. At first, your mind will scream, No, how could this be? It will sound like madness, a dissonant note in your music. However, the master is just suggesting a change, and the act of changing, which would be more of a non-forcing, can be called acceptance or surrender. It doesn't matter what the direction is. After all, he knows that we are coming and going in the same movement, and that every line, no matter how straight it may seem, is a curve towards itself. He is not interested in teaching. Observing the way a master lives can actually lead you to unlearning, a destruction of beliefs, conditioning, and preconceptions. The Easterners call this becoming empty. Only by being empty can you experience life's natural flow of filling and emptying. Symbols and the accumulation of their meanings are taken very seriously by humanity. Just watch how people deal with numbers like money and time. Playing with the symbols, the magician and alchemist allows transmutation, where the symbol dissolves and reality appears. Some doctors and physicists who combine modern science and timeless mysticism indicate that the path is to understand that nothing exists and then be able to create and be everything that exists, realizing that nothing was, nothing is, and nothing will be is the opening to everything being. Being Sakshi Dan. The phrase that opens the revelation is attributed to Merlin, the eternal wizard, when in communion with Arthur, the coming king. In this book, another communion is taking place. The book is built by a magical game, with pages that separate and complete each other as you open and close the book. There are also, on the one hand, dialogues, sutras, parables, in short, free writing by a Sakshi. On the other, observations about what is perceived when we live in togetherness. Sakshi Dan is not a specific person or name, because he, being unnameable, can have several. He is always open to welcome any name. It is a state of total receptivity to the present moment, creation being created all the time. It is also imprecise, to want to know much more about him, because apart from his name, which is a thing of the past, he leaves everything else behind, and also everything that can be projected in the future. Our meeting takes place on the road, on a journey without itineraries, objectives, or goals. By worrying about where you're coming from and where you're going, you miss the "here I am." In addition to not giving expected answers, he does not always give the same unexpected answers. One thing is known: a small book that he uses as bargaining chip and never imposes a fixed price. The book narrates a pilgrimage without money, cards, telephone, or food, as well as other free trips. When pilgrimaging, I am itself is transmuted into being. The understanding arises that we are not the starting point, the road, the vehicle, the passage, the destination, not even the traveler. We are being the whole journey, moment by moment. Here are words of a consciousness that is revealing itself through surrender to the state of silent witness, where observer, observed, and observation merge into one. Why bring them here? Because our meeting brings plenitude and serenity, with an open smile and radiant unity. Chong Jen. Everything is for the first time. Everything is for the last time. Number 2. A dialogue. I'm going to order another beer. And you? A tonic water. Do they have anything to eat? Automatically questions while analyzing the menu. Look around us. What do you notice? A bar, says awkwardly what seems obvious. Yes, and also no. How many beers have you had, friend? Watch more carefully. The inattentive waiter, the giggling girls there at the table. What not? Where do you want to get to? Therein lies our question. We are already here without being here. So why bother getting there? After a thunderous silence, he continues. Imagine now that this is all a movie. From my point of view, I'm the main character. But to be a character, some actor must be playing him. For me, you're a supporting character. The waiter, the girls there are extras. But at the same time, for you, you are the main one. I'm the supporting character. The girls make up the scene, and the waiter can be your villain. Wow! Calm down there. Let me breathe here, he panted as he reluctantly took a sip of the carbonated drink that came without the requested slice of lemon. I'm choosing what to tell you and ordering the words. After here, I can go straight home, or maybe take a trip to the park, try a new restaurant. So I'm also the editor and screenwriter of the story. Why not affirm the author? You're mad. We are all, everything at the same time. That's why we are not separated. We just identify sometimes with one, sometimes with another. Or we remain trapped in the projections of the mind with the belief that we are just the main character in our lives. This creates the dramas. The glass is empty in one last hoppy sip as he ends. We are the whole movie. Observations. Various cultures and philosophies deal with this illusory nature of reality. And what is the movie, if not an illusion? A play of light and shadow projected onto a white and reflected backdrop projected into the mind through the eyes. Indians talk about Maya and Leela, life as a play, a game. The Toltecs indicate that we are artists living dreams to create a work of art. And recently, we have theories about the universe being nothing more than a hologram. But what to do with it? Anything. Just acknowledge it. Not that this recognition is not another illusion, or part of it, but it brings peace and serenity. Another common point between the great wisdoms, now bringing science and religion into the plot, is the aspect of unity. Religion, religare, become one with the divine. Yoga. Unite. We are projected light that, due to different vibrations and frequencies, appear to be distinct manifestations, but we are emanating from the same source. And wouldn't that be the enlightenment of Buddhists? Shine the same light on everything and realize that we are being that light. When we concentrate or fix our attention on a single point, we distort everything around it. Focus creates blur. But we only realize both when both are in relationship, so we can see the illusion of opposites or the illusion that one is complementing the other. But they are being one with you who observe. The apparent external changes can reveal or obscure the eternal change, which never changes. You can only change the way you perceive. Then everything changes. Perhaps reality is the meeting of all illusions. A communion is happening. Duality being totality. Separation being unity. There is music. If there is silence, there is music. Number 3. A man in a rumpled suit walks hurriedly, holding his briefcase against his chest. As he crossed the square, he came across a bearded, somewhat ragged man, dancing happily. "You're mad." The man finishes a fluid turn and, in the mishap, responds, "You're mad." The man continues running. The dancer sits meditatively in silence and opens a book. Late for a meeting at the publisher, the man takes, for final approval, the book that is already being read. Observations. If they are both right, madness is the only thing that exists if only one is right. Madness is present. If neither is right, they must be mad, accusing each other. The madness persists. What is crazy for the normal is normal for the crazy. As for the crazy man, the attempt to remain normal is the greatest madness. But in this story, there is no definition of who is right and who is wrong, as this is the beginning of madness, division, comparison, and judgment. At the end of the reading, we get a glimpse of the interdependence of everything. One feeds, in some way, the other's madness. At first, it seems like an exchange of accusations. In a closer look, it is just a reflection, like someone talking in a mirror. When deepening, it is the immediate give and receive. Not as cause and effect separated by distance and time, it is one being the other, thus being one. When you let go, you are free to receive. You are free to receive when you let go. Number 0. A farmer grows fruit to feed his family. One day, a Sakshi passes by and notices that they are ripe, picks some, tastes them, keeps some for travel, and leaves the rest. The farmer sees this and gets angry because it took so much time and work to be robbed by an outsider, and he expels the intruder. Distressed, he worries about not having enough fruit to feed his wife and children. At the end of the day, the family returns happy and soon tells the news. "We are not hungry. We met a traveler along the way, and he shared his fruits with us." Observations. I pick and eat blackberries from a loaded tree that comes out of the house over the wall and reaches the sidewalk. Amidst the delight, the owner comes out with a broom, complaining that the excess fruit makes the front of her house dirty and that it attracts many people, as if it were a tourist spot. It's okay for the birds to come and eat, but now people, I don't go next door and get the neighbor's mangoes. Despite her complaint, she doesn't reprimand me directly, as she continues looking at the ground, cursing that her son will come and prune the tree, while causing more dirt than cleaning by sweeping hard. With a smile on my face, I continue to pick and chew. Life is abundant. Only man insists on thinking it is not. When he believes in abundance, He believes it is due to his effort and tries to direct it to a few, those he claims to love. His, your fruits. But whose fruits are they anyway? Incredibly, only man suffers from hunger, because only he believes in it. Everything else in nature, being in balance, feels the need to eat, and without working for or needing to have money, finds its food. A Sakshi usually carries plants and fruits that he collects during the journey, never in excess, as he consumes just to replenish and maintain himself. It's incredible how food appears when it's really needed, without having to stock up, or worry, or think that you need to eat meals a number of times or at repeated times. It's a state of always being able to eat, but if you don't eat, the nutrition is already complete, and the body can go on. Swing thus have I heard. Satiated I continue, grateful for the abundance. After all, the more you prune, the more the blackberry tree gives. If there is empty glass, there is full glass. There is full glass, if there is empty glass. Number 6. When contemplating the sunset with a clear sky, Govinda lightly questions, Siddhartha, what is the world? He just smiles. When contemplating the sunset with a cloudy sky, Siddhartha states, the world is the water's dance. Observations. What is the world? The meeting of rivers, the rain of laughter, the outpouring of emotion. What is the world? The village of drops, the rites of flows, canyons and waterfalls in connection. What is the world? Everything that touches tears, the passing clouds as gifts, the storm, the lightning, the thunder. What is the world? A dive into illusion, a flow without swimming. Oh, sea of love. What is the world? The water dancing. This dialogue is not explicit in Hermann Hesse's book. However, this reference is to delve deeper into the analogy of the river. The river is a constant being. It is at the same time everywhere, at the source, rising as well as at the mouth, apparently still and calm, strong and revolting in the cataracts and waterfalls, meeting with smaller ones, feeding on the rains from above and from the aquifers of the depths, until die reborn by becoming one with the sea. As far as we know, our bodies are made up of more than 70% water, with some organs reaching or exceeding 80%. And what about some fruits, apparently solid and diverse in colors, textures, and flavors, exceeding 90%? And all this water is the same water as any river. Water does not increase or decrease in the world. It just transforms. The rivers, all of nature, your body, the same water. Why not consider that the corporeal, the body, is a fourth state of water? Here, we stop diving and dissolve. We have stopped swimming against the tide, and we are also not letting life take us, going with the flow. We are the flow. That's exactly what Siddhartha realized. The contemplation of life as a river. There is no separation between you, the baby, the child, the adult, the elderly, and there is no separation of you from the other. You are being born, growing and dying every moment. Siddhartha concludes, nothing was, nothing will be. Everything is, everything has existence and present. Or would it be, everything is being? You are not here. When you are the here. When you are the here, you are not here. Number 11. Lying in a hammock by the side of a waterfall, a child approaches and asks, what is your name? I look like what? A bearded man. Do you think bearded man is my name? No, your name is Mary Claire. Nice to meet you. I'm Mary Claire. Wow, my name is also Mary. Observations. In a short dialogue, only children can be impermanence in a pure and genuine way, from direct observation to affirmation to the fascination of surprise. Returning to being like a child means living in innocence, but now in a conscious way. The child has not yet built his self-image. Returning to being a child is knowing about the ego, but not caring about it, being able to kill it at any time so that you can be reborn with each new baptism. Thus, the I is constantly changing. It stops being I am to I being. An ever-new self gives rise to an ever-new world. Life is always fresh, tender, and bringing the playful to the real, where magic is always happening. Some say your name is your mantra. You can keep repeating the same sound, the same frequency, the same vibration, day after day. Nothing will change. Now, imagine having a different name per day, or several names for each dialogue. You can be John, Mary, Gabriel, Yeshua, Fernanda, joy, lightness, strength, courage. Imagine living each vibration in the moment you are living. This is living in being. Now imagine not having a name. Fall into total silence. No past, no self-image, no ego, no dramas, no I, no you. The illusion of someone who makes things happen. Get rid of the accomplishing person and be the simple life that is already happening. The flow is unimpeded and continues unnoticed. Anonymous, without goals, without expectations, free, being like a child who is the play. There is here, when we get there, when we get there. There is here. Number 8. Omnipotence is the omniscience of omnipresence. Observations. Masters, mystics, wizards, and various philosophers speak or throw you into the state of presence. For this they speak of being, or the state of being. It is hidden in plain sight that our answer lies. Being is the present continuous of the verb to be. This continuity, ever-present act, is the meaning of being in this book. The Indian sage Krishnamurti claims that this state of constantly being is never still, never static, always in motion. It is what one is doing, thinking and feeling from moment to moment, continually submitting to transformation. From Eastern Zen, Taoists and Buddhists to Eckhart Tolle, it is said that the awakening of new consciousness involves the perception of the eternal state of presence. When we operate in this present, we take advantage of its total power as we become that power. But we can only be that power here and now. That is, we can only be when we are being. Vincenzo Gioberti's philosophy of ontologism postulates God as the only being and the origin of all consciousness, with consciousness being identical to divinity itself. God is, consequently, called being. God, then, is all that is being at all times. Imagine what is happening in the world right now. It's quite possible that everything is happening right now. Birth, death, war, a handshake, blossoming, growing, an egg opening, the rain falling, the sun rising and setting at the same moment, a first kiss, a last breath. It is almost improbable to say that something that manifests is not manifesting at this very moment, and everything happens at all times, just by changing the location and with which living being it is happening. Omnipresence is always being. Knowing how to be this is powerful. When you stop controlling, control is. Control is. When you stop controlling. Number 21. During the trip, a meeting happens with the banana monk. He still lives as a recluse in the monastery and believes that the rotten banana is the life that has passed, the green banana is the life that has not yet happened, and that only the ripe banana is the present moment to be shared and lived without fear. With the bananas apparently rotten, collected from the market's floor, pies and cakes are prepared to share for breakfast. With green bananas harvested along the way, biomass or crunchy farofa is prepared to share on the trail in the middle of the afternoon. And even with the banana peels, whether black, green, or ripe, an exotic dish is prepared to share and impress at dinner. Observations. How can there be an ideal moment for the present moment? Living in the present moment means accepting it and receiving it as it presents itself. You don't get rotten bananas just wanting ripe ones. Thus, apparent poverty becomes abundant. Without an attempt to control and change things, you perceive a natural order. That's control. Everything you receive does not become yours, so you share everything. Here, another magic happens. Dividing turns into the miracle of multiplication. Being open to what comes to you in the moment brings serenity. What is happening is neither better nor worse than what could have happened. For being is total reality. The other is a fragmented projected illusion. The possibilities can be endless, but trying to reach one in specific is crossing a smooth floor full of banana peels. You only reach infinity when you fully taste and enjoy the possibility that is no longer a possibility. When you are the now, you don't exist. You don't exist when you are the now. Number 7. After a long interview about what it's like to abandon your future when living on the road without itineraries, goals, and plans, and about forgetting the past, abandoning origin, age, and even name, the interviewer asks, "So who am I talking to now?" To yourself. Observations. We are always talking to ourselves, even in a dialogue. Sound is coming out of a mouth, traveling in vibration in the air, and vibrating the membranes of the ears, which are transformed into electrical impulses that are interpreted by the brain. Talking to someone is talking to yourself, because you are listening to yourself, and often in an unprecedented way. You are ordering words and creating sequences never thought of before. Even if already thought out, they follow an uncontrollable flow, depending on the need to answer the question. Speaking is listening at the same time. Every dialogue is a monologue. Does it seem strange? Notice how many people start conversations just to talk about themselves or use the beginning of responses as hooks to repeat their own exploits and dramas. It's even stranger to become a great storyteller just by preserving silence. The more you go, the more you come back. The more you come back, the more you go. Number 10. Whoever is born a tortoise stumbles when it passes for a hare. Observations. A virus only survives if it is in an organism. It infects the cell, multiplies, and destroys it, causing the disease that alters this organism. A thought only survives if it is in a mind. It can infect other minds, changing our habits and ways of living life. And one of the great epidemics of our era is called rush. How many times have you spread this virus in your daily chat, contaminating close friends and even that stranger you meet at the market? Why are we running? Running from what? Running to where? Are we really running, or are we just multiplying this thought pattern haphazardly? Stop and reflect. How many accidents happen due to rushing? How much dissatisfaction do you have due to delays or missed deadlines? In the wild world, there is only rush when there is fear. In the human world, haste is a result of the belief in time. Many masters say that fear is time, the past memories that condition us, and the unknown dark future. A virus only survives if it is in an organism. A thought only survives if it is in a mind. Take time out of your mind. How? Let's consider that time does not exist. Since it doesn't exist, it can be any way you want it to be. Now, if it exists as a fixed and immutable certainty and reality, it doesn't matter how it is measured, as there will be no interference. So, why rush? Why run? The step on the way out is the same as on the way back. Agreeing on the same timestamp is a convention, which brings order to the way civilization lives and provides the functioning of some technologies. But if you don't mark it, everything will continue to live and flow naturally. Everything will continue to being. Only now, in full sanity. Every moment is the right time. If there is no time, every moment is the right time. Number 13. Creation is a creation. First, the creator is created. There, the creator creates the pain. And what do you do with all this pain, creature? Observations. People suffer because they want to, not because they want to suffer, but because they desire. They want something, someone, to become someone. They want this, that, and the other, there too. Or they are selective, in a perpetual state of conflict and choice. I don't want it. I don't like it. I'm afraid of it. I don't agree with you. They keep wanting it and suffering. Wanting is thinking, and thinking is not creating. Thinking is repeating. And when the same beliefs and the same desires and aversions are repeated, suffering continues to revolve. True creation continues to be created moment by moment. And you are it, not only as a creature, but as creator and creation. Remember, when you are not separated in time, you are all at the same time. And you don't create through thought or thinking that creation is defined and is the responsibility of someone greater or separate from you. Whatever you are going to do it as if you are not doing it. How to do that? Not resisting or wanting to be somewhere else, doing something else. Enjoy the moment with fun, without worrying about time. Then joy will flow and reverberate through the air. You created without creating. You created without being a creator, and you did not repeat suffering. By understanding non-existence. Existence is understood. Existence is understood. By understanding non-existence. Number 12. Every no is already a yes. Observations. Do you have ambitions, need to reach goals, deadlines to achieve, and are you only happy when you achieve them? The problem itself is not the no you receive. It is the mental imposition that you created for yourself, or that you submit to and allow yourself to be pressured into when living. That's right. Society, your boss, your family. No one is pressuring you. You who resist and squeeze yourself. Here, once again, attachment to time causes your reactions and frustrations. Whoever fights and makes an effort to transform a no into a yes suffers in vain, in addition to causing suffering. If you struggle to succeed, and it depends on the amount of yeses you receive in a given period of time, you have the options of starting by destroying time, yes, quantity, dependency, success, struggle, and you. Or all at once. How? Leaving everything behind? No. There is no such thing as leaving everything behind. By letting go, not clinging, you are at the same moment with your hands open to receive. Giving and receiving are not two things linearly separated in time. When you give, you already receive. When you receive, you are already giving. When you accept no, yes instantly accepts you. This is living as being totality. It's letting go of very little of what you think you have to embrace the whole. A lot ugliness shows up for those who adore beauty. For those who adore beauty, a lot ugliness shows up. Number 22. Man continues building walls, looking for the door, while just looking out the window. Observations. I'm free to do whatever I want. Me doing, wanting, everything that man builds in his mind makes him a prisoner of the idea of himself. Your beliefs, ideals, opinions, desires, possessions, names, points of view, each window you look at is like the blinders of a horse that continues with its conditioned focus without noticing everything around it. The ways to open these imaginary doors are equally diverse. A master, guru, spiritual guide, knowledge, hallucinogenic experiences, when the doors of perception are opened. But these doors don't need to be opened, because if we don't build the walls, they won't even exist. Everything is already open, spacious, infinite. When living in the state of being, there is always freedom. No walls, no doors, no windows, but always home. It's impossible not to be alone. It's impossible to be alone. Number 15. If everything is everything, it contains nothing. If nothing is nothing, nothing lacks. Observations. Everything seems to have its opposite, its contrast, but it is not like that. And it's also like that because it just seems like it, or that's how it appears to appear. For example, love does not have its dual. The opposite of hate can be like or adore. That's why there's so much talk about unconditional love. In reality, love does not exist, only loving. When we are loving everything, and that includes nothing, we are being love. In this first realization, something changes. What seemed opposite now appears to be complementary, one fulfilling the other. A sense of completeness and totality arises, but in this perception, we still perceive separate things as now together. But they were never separated in essence, only in appearance. From here, we begin to fully realize oneness and wholeness simply happening, not of everything or of nothing. Breathe in highly. Breathe out deeply. Number 23. The distance between 2 and 3 is non-existent and infinite. Observations. Distance is yet another form of human measurement that has the ability to help us find ourselves and make us even more lost. In mathematics, the next number after 2 would be 3. They are side by side, so close. But between them, we can insert infinite decimal places. As we insert more numbers, the closer we are getting to the next one, and we are also increasing the distance between them. So far away, and in fact, one never meets or reaches the other. Now let's change the symbol, the letters. What exists or can be inserted between A and B? Everything and the whole nothing. Just as we can place any number in decimal places, we can place any letter between one and another, forming an infinite number of concepts, ideas, words, which in fact do not bring us closer to the symbol, but exponentially distance us. If we don't even get to the next symbol, imagine how far from the truth we are when using language. Being is a word, a verb, another symbol. However, it seeks to point to the immutable, constantly changing present, to the free transformation that goes beyond thinking, doing, feeling, and being itself. Being this ever-changing metamorphosis, we no longer have that old opinion about everything. Open up a smile. Close the book. Number 36. Look, a guy dancing by the road. It looks like he's hitchhiking. The car pulls over. Hey friend, where are you going? You're the one going. I am here. Where do you want to go? Wherever you want to take me. Observations. Truth is not in the field of language, of knowledge, of what is known. It is in the unknown and the unknowable. Having goals, Objectives, plans can be useful, but they are not the essence of the truth. It is an illusion that, when achieved, brings us relief and satisfaction, but if frustrated, causes annoyance and a lot of suffering throughout the living process that is taking place. You tend to close yourself off and operate on the frequency of fear or avoiding what you think could sabotage your idea of success, which is nothing more than an electrical impulse that passed through your brain, and you try hard to retain it. Try not having faith or trust. But how? Not projecting this faith and trust, or lack thereof, into something, someone, situation, place, or any abstraction, like flow, energy, universe. How many people claim to have faith and trust, but live in fear? When you are faith and trust at all times, the vibration changes and fear cannot shake you, because it doesn't even exist. It's a note that no longer makes up the music that's playing you. I go beyond when I don't care what comes next. I go beyond when I don't want to be someone. I go beyond when I don't. Then the I stops on the track. Then all that's left is the cosmic dance going on, always being here and now. Earlier it is. The later it gets. The earlier it gets. Later it is. Number 33. There is a village on the bank of a wide river where the people insist on trying to build a bridge to take them to the other side, where the promise is of abundance and unparalleled beauty. Whenever an attempt is foiled, a Sakshi on the banks lets out a laugh. Upset by the situation, one of the builders asks, "Instead of laughing and doing nothing, why don't you help us get to the other side?" The Sakshi, still smiling, jumps into the river, being carried by the current until he gets lost. No one sees him around the village anymore, but whenever an unfinished bridge collapses, his laughter can be heard coming from the other side of the river. Observations. There is a wide river between wanting to do or having to do and doing it. If giving up doing is still complicated for you, eliminate the have to. Understand that no one has to do anything. Either it is done with love or it is not done with the same lightness and sincerity. Have to is putting the blame on someone else, forging one's own responsibility that depends on the external or out of consideration, which is nothing more than attachment to the past. What appears not to act is actually what does something. For men, the other side is either craved or stoned, an achievement or a threat, always in a state of fugue from here, or sacrificing this moment to build something to get there. A Sakshi knows that there is here and here is there, so he doesn't need bridges. And he is always laughing, not in mockery of others, but out of understanding of the great joke which others take seriously. Only at the moment of jumping into the river do others realize the illusion of the action. But the Sakshi has always been one with the river, so he does not need to act. Understands the constant flow to any place. Laughter is heard with the fall of water, with the fall of rain, with the fall of the waterfall, with any and all movement of the water. Here, laughing and doing nothing is all the help you need to get you to the other side. The story begins when it comes to the end. When it comes to the end, the story begins. 1. It all starts with 2. That needs 3. To move the 0. That's the 1. Observations. An ancient philosophy, analyzed by modern teachers, has said that 2 is the first number, because with it, separation and increase occur, and it provides the basis on which counting actually begins. With 2, namely, the 1 emerges from the unity, which means nothing less than the separation has reduced and transformed the unity into a number. 1 is not a number. To get to 1, we need three. Here it is, the representation of energy, of the active forces of the occult, which makes two rotate, forming zero. This entire interaction is one. One is when 2, 3, and 0 are being. This is illustrated in the Chinese yin-yang symbol. In Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, he states that 2 creates 3 and 3 creates all things. To create all things, this energy throws you into the void, into the unknown, into zero. Think about yourself. You are 2 to be here as you came from your father and mother. At the same time, there are 3 of them: father, mother, and son. Without a father, there is no mother and child. Without a mother, there is no father and no son. Without a son, there is no father and mother. Everything is interdependent in the same circle, zero. Expand this to any type of relationship and interaction, and you will understand. This totality happening is what I call one. Notice your breathing, back and forth, the apparent 2 through the 3, the apparent you, creating movement of zero, life. Let's play. Take a pen and draw a circle on a blank page. For this to happen, everything starts with the receptive blank page and the ink of the pen, the 2, which is driven by your will, the 3, an action of tracing, the 0. What was created? Exterior and interior of the circle, the 2, the energy manifested in the outline of the circle, the 3, and you perceiving the contrast between one and the other, now as figure and background, the 0. Now, disregard the outside and look at the circle. What we have, the outline of the circle and a central point, even if invisible and hidden, the 2, the space between the edge and this center, the 3, where infinity can be inserted through energy and movement, the 0. Being Chongzhen. There is a maxim that states, when the disciple is ready, the master appears. But for the maxim to be complete, it is a fact at the same moment that when the master is ready, disciples begin to appear. And a small mistake, which is also the biggest one, is to think that master and disciple are 2 different separate persons. When you surrender and accept, you become a disciple at the feet of the master. And when you understand that you are already one with the whole and everything, you realize being, and without wanting to teach, you have your body, mind, heart, soul, and all existence as followers. Chongzhen is the man whose sense is open to the cosmic event and its laws. His actions and non-actions are full of the experience of the mysterious depths of life, giving magic to words and thoughts. Being one with the world, thus being able to reformulate the world through the hidden source where energies flow. Chongzhen abandoned his casual inclinations and desires, fully corresponding to the principle of living. This individual does not live himself or seek anything for himself, but allows life to come to fruition. Wouldn't he be a Sakshi? Sakshi Dan, Chongzhen, or any avatar or name is not performed on any historical personality. It's just an idea, an energy that surpasses space and time. Therefore, Sakshi Dan and Chongzhen are the same person, and they are not at the same time. Like someone who oscillates from one page to another, they only play a role in showing that the 2, with you as the 3rd, emanating your reading energy, creates and sets in motion the circle without beginning or end. At this moment, the communion is happening. One being. This book is past. This book is present. Pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on.